Hi everyone and welcome back to a 25-minute sitting with stillness flow. If you haven't flown with me before, I'm Rosie. It's lovely to meet you all and I really hope you enjoy this class. We're actually going to get started today down in a Supta Baddha Konasana. So wherever you may be, just coming down to lie on the back and taking knees almost together and then allowing them to drop out to the sides, taking soles of the feet together. You can prop blocks underneath the knees if that feels nice to give you some supports. If this feels really wide and too open, maybe you take the feet out a little bit wider than hip distance and drop knees together if that feels nicer. And then when you get here, just releasing down, closing off through the eyes and starting to draw your attention, your awareness back to the breath. So I invite you here to maybe take the hands onto the belly, onto the chest. Just notice the rise and fall here as you inhale and you exhale. So we're going to be working today with this idea of stillness, sitting with our stillness, being content in it. And this idea of svadhyaya, so self-study. Taking that time to explore our inner landscape. So knowing that as we start practice now, it's quite normal in a practice like this where we've got some slightly longer holds for the mind to wander, for thoughts, feelings, memories to pop in. So just reminding yourself as we start that this is completely normal. So as these things pop up, maybe you just allow them to sit with you. And I invite you today, if anything does pop up, normally when these things happen, there's a reason for them. There's a reason for these things being active in the mind. So today, instead of just drawing immediately back to the breath, if it feels good to, maybe see if you can follow what's coming up. Allow the mind to wander a little. Again, exploring that inner landscape. And then when you feel ready, but only when you feel ready, just drawing that attention, that awareness, either back to the breath or back to the body. So taking a nice releasing breath here, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth. And then wherever you are, just using those hands to draw knees back together and draw those knees in towards the chest. So taking hands on top of knees, just starting to make some circles here. So taking those knees out to the sides and then drawing them back together. Keeping eyes closed if it feels good. Taking a few circles in one direction and then going the other way. So switching up. And then when you're ready, just taking hands behind the knees and starting to roll on the back. So you might take a couple of rolls here. Maybe you find that momentum to come up to seated, but take a few. And then as you come up, we're just going to do the same. So dropping knees out to the side, soles of the feet together. Again, option to prop the knees here with blocks and take those feet out slightly further than you normally would. So we want to create this diamond shape. And the aim here is to kind of round through the back. We want to allow the head to come down towards the feet. So again, we're going to be in this hold for a few minutes. So options to take hands underneath ankles if that feels nice. So we're sinking down, hands to the mat. Or to prop yourself here, so find that support. So it might be that you take a bolster onto the feet, it might be that you take a bolster and then a block as well, maybe even a meditation cushion, so whatever it is. Find what you need to get to that support to the head. And then when you arrive here again, shutting down through the eyes, and just seeing if you can allow yourself to drop into sensation here. So check in with the body. How does this feel through the hips, through the groin? And all we ask here is that we notice. So we draw that attention to the body, draw that attention to the breath. Everything's feeling heavy here, body melting down. Noticing even here if the mind starts to wander, if there are distractions coming up, the need to maybe want to open the eyes, to wiggle through the fingers. Maybe it's just moving through the shoulders, through the head. So again, I invite you here, if any of those niggles are coming up, instead of ignoring them, see for a second if you can just follow them. So listen to the body's intuition of what it needs. And then when you're ready, settle back down into that stillness. Just around 30 more seconds here. Lovely. Next inhale, slowly starting to peel away. So mindful movement here, removing the hands if you've got them, taking away any props. Maybe use those hands to draw those knees back together. Maybe you even take a quick hug here of the knees, head down. And then as you come back, slowly starting to flutter open those eyes. And we're going to come around into a tabletop. So just arriving shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. And we're going to start off here by just panning out through the hands. So noticing that connection between the fingertips, between the earth. So take those fingertips to either side. Maybe you've got a sway here, rocking, the hips moving as well. Maybe those fingers come towards you. So you get a nice stretch out through the forearms too, dropping that weight back if it feels good. Panning out through those hands. And then we start to move through the head, through the neck. So allowing this movement here to be intuitive. So ask yourself, what would feel nourishing? What does my body need? And then respond through that movement. Option to simply drop back and take a couple of breaths in child's pose here if it feels good. Arms reaching out long. So it's really whatever is calling for you. Maybe it's the movement, maybe it's the stillness. Wherever we are, just a couple of breaths here. You might drop into that cat-cow, so as you inhale, lifting through the chest, lifting through the head. As you exhale, rounding through the back, doming. So your choice what you drop into here. It's your practice. We always want to be exploring, finding what works for us. Wherever you are, taking one more breath. And then we're going to come in to a downward facing dog, so tucking under through the toes, lifting up knees, hips draw up and back. Take a second here to check in with that alignment, feet, hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart. Maybe you've got those index fingers facing forwards, so see how that changes the direction of the arms. And make this stretchy, so take a pedal out through the feet. Maybe movement through the head, through the neck, through the shoulders, whatever it is that you need. And then starting to slowly tiptoe those feet forwards, take the feet in front of the wrists, taking that weight into the feet, releasing from the hands, hands to opposite elbows, hang heavy here, Uttanasana, taking soft knees, maybe a rock from side to side. And then slowly we start to rise up, vertebrae by vertebrae, head, neck, shoulders coming last, arriving at the top of our mats in our Tadasana, standing tall, hands down by the sides, palms open. As we inhale here, sweep those arms up above the head, gaze towards the sky, Urdhva. Exhale, soft knees forward, fold, Uttanasana. As we inhale, we take hands to the shins, straighten through the back, look forwards, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands down. We're going to step the feet back towards plank, drop the knees, untuck toes, lower down to the chest. And as we inhale, we find our baby cobra lifting through the head, lifting through the chest. Maybe those hands come off the mats. Exhale, fingertips push back down. We tuck under toes, roll it back, downward facing dog. From here, as we inhale, the right leg is going to stretch up towards the sky. As we exhale, we draw it forwards in between the hands. We ground the back foot down, so the back foot's going to switch so it's at an angle. As we inhale, arms come up, bend in the front knee, warrior one. You might find that you take that right foot out slightly, so you pad it maybe 1 foot away. We find that space for the hips reaching forwards, feet grounding down into the mat, arms lifting up. We take a few breaths here, lifting through those fingertips, grounding through the feet. Next inhale, we find a little lift. As we exhale, right arm forwards, left arm back, we open out, warrior two. That back foot might pivot slightly, hips open out to the side. We're gazing over that front hand. And then the next inhale that we find, we're going to straighten through the front leg, draw hands together. So we're flying the warrior. As we exhale, we find that bend again. So 2 more. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, reach forwards. Inhaling up. Exhale, releasing. And then we pause here, straighten through that front leg, keeping the arms where they are. Reach that right hand forwards. And as we exhale, right arm comes down towards the inside of the right foot, left arm sweeps up towards the sky. Utthita Trikonasana. So we want to open through the chest here. So if you're someone who can get that hand down to the floor, see how it feels to come up onto the fingertips, or maybe to take that hand to the ankle or to the shin. Do you find more space for the chest here? That gaze, that drishti up towards the left hand. We're pausing here a few breaths. Notice how that feels. That little directional pull working its way all the way from the left fingertips down the arm, down into the leg. Next inhale that we find, taking that left arm forwards and round, finding a circle here. Lifting up, back to where we were. And then when we're ready, we fly everything back up. That warrior two, but with a straight leg in front. So we cartwheel both arms round and in front, take a bend through the knee, frame the foot, step right foot back. Option to come straight to a child's pose or work through your vinyasa, so knees and chest as before, or your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck under toes, roll it back, downward facing dog. Meeting us here if you're in that child's pose, and as we inhale, right leg is going to sweep up towards the sky. As we exhale, right knee coming inside the right wrist, we release the back leg, release the back toes, and we're coming to find our pigeon. So slightly longer hold here. So we really want to find the spot that works for all of us with pigeon. So we want to be feeling it through that right quad. And we're going to come down, lie down onto the arms. Option to lie down on a bolster here. Option to find the support of a block. Even to take the block underneath the right hip to give you some lift here if that feels good. And when we get here, we really want to settle everything. So we release any active effort. We're letting go, allowing everything to melt down. So when you get here, finding that sweet spot that works for you. So you might want to explore. Might be that those hands even come out towards the left hand side, and that's where you find yourself releasing down. So we want this to be neither too much nor too little. Again, slightly longer hold here. So exploring, finding the right spot that works for you, and then releasing down. Finding any support you need through props, through blocks. Closing down the eyes if you haven't already when you arrive. Around 60 seconds left here, so you might check in. This is your moment to ease in or to ease out. So maybe you soften slightly. Allow yourself to get a little bit deeper, or maybe you start to ease out slightly. So maybe you come up onto the hands, or you find a little bit of extra supports. Keeping the eyes closed. Next inhale, slowly starting to peel away, lifting the head, using those hands to lift up. Tucking under, back toes, stepping right foot back, and we just draw hips back, take it straight back to that downward facing dog. When we're ready, that left leg is going to sweep up towards the sky, taking the opposite side. Exhale, left foot in between the hands, right foot grounds. We inhale, draw up, find our warrior one. Space for the upper body here, hips forwards. Reaching through those fingertips, so take a wiggle through the chest, find that space for the upper body, lift, fingertips tall, rooting down through feet. Inhale, we find a little bit of lift here. Exhale, left arm forwards, right arm back, hips open out to the side, warrior two. Taking a breath there. And the next inhale that we find, flying the warrior, so hands come together, front leg straightens. As we exhale, we come back to where we were before, taking a bend through the leg. 2 more times, inhale, drawing up. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, release. Straightening through that front leg now. We reach left fingertips forwards as the left hand comes down to the inside of the left foot, right arm up towards the sky. Utthita Trikonasana. Again, we find that space for the chest. So maybe you take a block underneath the hand. Maybe the hand comes to the ankle, to the shin. We want to find that opening. Gaze towards that right hand, and as we inhale, right hand comes forwards. We find a circle, maybe the gaze follows the hand, and we draw it back up. Back up to that starting position, reaching, and then the next time we draw back up, warrior two. Cartwheeling both hands around, framing the foot, stepping left foot back, coming through your vinyasa, or going straight to a child's pose for a few breaths. Inhale if you're coming through that up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck under toes, draw it back. Downward facing dog. For everybody meeting us here. Taking that last breath in child's pose if that's where you are. Or staying in child's pose if you feel like it. And then that left leg is going to sweep up again. We draw left knee towards the inside of the left wrist. Release the back leg out, untuck back toes. Take a moment to position yourself here. Find the spot that works for you. And then when you're ready, we start to release down. Finding our pigeon on the other side, eyes closing. Again, slightly longer hold here. So we really want to allow the body to release. Letting go of that active efforts. And always just drawing back to sensation. But again, always listening to the body. So knowing that through these poses where we have stillness, if you feel like you need to readjust, you need to take a wiggle, take some movement, allowing the body to go where it needs. Remembering that it's your practice. Always remembering that nobody knows your body better than you. So always checking in. Cultivating that idea of listening to whatever the body might need. Just around another 60 seconds here. Okay, really mindful movement as we start to ease away. So using hands to help you. Lifting up onto the palms, tucking under, back toes, stepping that left foot back, and then from here just dropping the knees, untucking toes, coming back to find a kneeling position at the back of the mat. And just taking a second here, second to contemplate, breathe in, hands resting on the knees. And as we inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up towards the sky. As we exhale, taking right hand towards the left knee, left fingertips behind us, maybe that gaze goes behind us as well, just neutralizing out through that spine, easy twist. Inhale here. Exhale, come back through center, take a counter twist, so just taking both hands over to the right, pushing down into the floor. And then finding that other side, so we come back through center as we inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, left hand coming towards the right knee, right hand coming behind us, coming back into that easy twist. Not long here. Inhale, breathing in. Exhale, releasing, taking both hands over to the left, just pushing down into the mats. And then taking those legs into the chest. You might want to scooch forwards on the mat. And we're going to come back into that Supta Baddha Konasana from before. So taking knees out to the side, soles of the feet together. And then releasing the back down. Option to take a bolster underneath the back here for a little bit of a heart opening as well, if that feels good. When we arrive, knees open out to the sides. Just take those hands wherever feels comfortable. So it might be that they're palms facing up. Maybe they're resting on the thighs. Maybe they're on the belly again. So wherever feels good. And ask yourself, if you could be just 10% more comfortable here, what would you do? So maybe it's grabbing an extra layer. Maybe a blanket. Maybe if you're at home, you even hop into bed for the last couple of minutes of practice. So whatever it may be. Maybe it's as simple as picking the shoulders up and just placing them back down. Or even taking the head from side to side. Just allow yourself to release. And as we lie here, closing down through the eyes, we've done a full circle in our practice. So we're coming back to end the practice the same way we started. So you might check in again with the body, check in with the breath. How does it feel? Is it different from the start of practice? Are there any noticeable shifts, noticeable changes? Just asking yourself. It might be that everything stayed the same. If that's the case, allowing yourself to be content with that too. So we welcome in the body exactly how it is whenever we come to practice. Now today we've been sitting with this idea of stillness. So just ask yourself, did anything come up? Again, reminding yourself that it's normal. As soon as we start to slow the body, still the mind, things end up popping up, filling it up, taking up that space. So I invite you now to imagine yourself you're in a room, and in this room there are lots of lights. Maybe you imagine them as candles. And as you lie here, you notice that they're distracting, that light flickering around the room. So maybe you can imagine each of these lights as something that has popped up today in practice, something that's taking up space in the mind. And as we lie here, I ask you to just imagine yourself working around the room. Each time you get to a light, just breathing in on that inhale. And as you exhale, imagine yourself blowing the candle out. So we use that inhale, that energy, that prana as it moves through the body. And as we exhale, we allow ourselves to find a release, just letting go. So slowly now starting to move around the room. There's no overwhelm here. Just moving at your own pace. Taking each thing one at a time. You might now be coming towards that final light. When you arrive here, blowing it out on that exhale and allowing yourself to feel into the darkness of the room. Feel into the quiet, the stillness. Reminding yourself that there is nothing to do here, there is nowhere to be. You're simply sitting with your breath, with your body. Option to stay here for as long as you wish. So if you wish to pause the video and stay here a little bit longer, feel free. You're ready to start moving away, just using those hands again to draw knees together and draw them back into the chest. So feel that lower back, lumbar spine grounding. And just take a rock from side to side here, noticing how that spine feels against the floor. And then slowly finding a rock again up to seated. So coming up, maybe using those hands to help you, keeping those eyes closed. Coming up either into a kneeling position, cross-legged, however feels comfortable for you. And just taking a second. Hands together at heart center. Notice that breath again. And take a second here to just say thank you to yourselves for finding that time for stillness. Time to allow the mind to just settle. When you're ready, taking one big inhale in through the nose. As you exhale, releasing out through the mouth. Let it go, releasing hands, starting to flutter, open eyelids, coming back to the space, coming back to the room. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. Really hope you enjoyed that class. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or if you enjoyed it, feel free to let me know. My Instagram's linked down below, so you can let me know on there as well. And please subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We get a new class every single week, so it's only a short one, but it's an opportunity to kind of flow with whatever the theme of the week is that I've been teaching in person. So sending love out to you all, and I'll see you soon.